Hey guys, John V here from PhoneArena. You're watching our video comparison between three quality smartphones available right now in the market. They've all launched relatively close to one another. We have the $230 Samsung Galaxy S2 with T-Mobile with its gorgeous Super AMOLED Plus display. You have the tried and true Apple iPhone 4S with Sprint, available with different carriers too, starting at $200 on contract. And finally on the right, we have the Motorola DROID BIONIC for Verizon Wireless at $300 on contract. Features things like 4G LTE connectivity and a little bit smaller frame compared to its previous LTE device that we've checked out. We're going to compare and contrast the three devices and see which one's ultimately going to give you the most bang for the buck. So when it comes to design, they all have their unique perks and, different characteristics, but out of all of them, we have to say the iPhone 4S still compels us the most, just because it's a little more compact between the other two models, and definitely feels like a premium top shelf device with its choice of materials. You have that nice glass-like cover in the front and back, and sandwiched that nice stainless steel bezel all around. The other two devices, the Android device, are made of plastic, a little bit larger in the hand. As you can tell, they're a little bit more bulky, especially the DROID BIONIC, a lot of weight with it too, but we'd say that these devices would fare better if they were dropped. But overall, something that comes out when you first look at them, definitely the iPhone 4S has that compelling aspect. Again, it's going to come down to personal preference as to which display is going to be a little bit more appealing to you. But out of the three, we have to say that the Super AMOLED Plus display on the Samsung Galaxy S2 is the one that really captures our attention with its alluring looks here. It is the largest display, 4.52 inches, but unfortunately the lowest resolution, WVGA. But we do like the fact that it produces the most saturated looking colors, deep, luscious, vibrant, and blacks are really deep. And in darkroom, definitely stands out of the bunch. The 4.3-inch QHD display on the DROID BIONIC is nice with its colors, but unfortunately with its pen tile arrangement doesn't produce the most vivid or clearest visuals here. And finally, the iPhone 4S, unfortunately it lacks in size at 3.5-inch display, but it has the highest resolution, 640 by 960 pixels with its Retina display. The other thing we like about it is that the colors are very accurate looking, very realistic, a lot better than the Super AMOLED Plus on the Samsung Galaxy S2. But all in all, we have to say that the Super AMOLED Plus display is definitely what entices our eyes right from the start. Thankfully, all three devices are modernized thanks to their dual-core processors, and they all provide a great, excellent platform experience. Very responsive, and you can tell here as we're navigating across their home screens, all three devices are very smooth with their response. The iPhone 4 is definitely by far the most, offers the tightest response, but then again, you have a little bit more simplistic layout, not as graphically intensive as what you find with the DROID BIONIC or the Samsung Galaxy S2. But either way, all three devices work phenomenally with their response, very quick, instantaneous, and barely any evidence any slowdown or lag. Of course, the big question that everyone wants to ask is probably which platform experience is going to be better for you. Well, with iPhone, with the iOS experience on there, it's easily by far the most simplistic and easy to learn out of the bunch. So if you're new to smartphones, you'll definitely fit in right away with the iPhone 4S. Unfortunately, it lacks personalization. But with the Android-based devices, with the Galaxy S2 and the DROID BIONIC, a lot of personalization. You get things like live wallpapers, all the neat-looking widgets, a lot of functionality, of course. But between the TouchWiz experience and the Motor Blur experience, we have to get to the DROID BIONIC a little bit, just because it combines a lot of graphical elements to its presentation. It has that eye candy appeal. On top of that, a lot of functionality with its widgets still. So here are the music player interfaces of all three devices, with the Galaxy S2 being left, Motorola DROID BIONIC at the top, and the bottom being the iPhone 4S. When they're playing in portrait, they're all basically the same with their conventional approach. You have the album cover, the on-screen controls, track information. But when you set to landscape with both the DROID BIONIC and the iPhone 4S, you get this nice 3D carousel here. But we still definitely like the cover flow mode with the iPhone 4S. It just looks a little bit more appealing than the one found here with the DROID BIONIC. But as far as the audio quality, they're all surprisingly going to be the same. At the highest volume setting, definitely loud tones. With the Galaxy S2, there's a little bit of a sharpness to its output, while the iPhone 4S has a little bit of scratchiness. But with the DROID BIONIC, seems to be the most well-rounded out of the bunch. Surprisingly, all three handsets feature 8-megapixel autofocus cameras in the rear, but out of all of them, we have to say the iPhone 4S definitely takes the best shots here. So in the middle, we have the iPhone 4S, on the left being the Samsung Galaxy S2, and the right being the DROID BIONIC. In low lighting conditions, the iPhone 4S definitely has a clear advantage with its f2.4 lens. It just absorbs more light, so there's more details. Show you some more samples here. Here's a perfect indication. You can see with the DROID BIONIC, colors aren't as great looking, a little bit more on the bland side, while the iPhone 4S and even the Samsung Galaxy S2 definitely excels in that aspect. Show you some more photos here real quick. Just see the samples. a lot of details. They all take great macro shots. They focus in really nice, capture a lot of details too, but color production definitely has to go to both the Galaxy S2 and the iPhone 4S. They just seem to be on the same level. And the Droid Bionic, again, does a great job, but between the three, we have to give it a slight edge overall to the iPhone 4S. Again, we can definitely say that the iPhone 4S and the Samsung Galaxy S2 produces the better 1080p high-definition videos. On top, we have the Galaxy S2, the middle of the iPhone 4S, and the bottom the Droid Bionic. Let's just quickly show you our sample here that we shot. Nice thing about them all, they all shoot smoothly, I believe 29 frames per second, but with the Droid Bionic, details are kind of flat looking, almost muddy at times, but with the iPhone 4S and the Galaxy S2, a lot of distinctive details, clear, vivid, colors are accurate, and also the exposure is spot on too. But with the iPhone 4S, it just seems a little bit better with its overall output, especially audio recording, but it doesn't offer continuous autofocus like the Galaxy S2. Unfortunately, the Motorola DROID BIONIC fared the worst when it comes to battery life. Of course, being 4G LTE and all, it does drain the battery a lot faster than the other two devices. In fact, we're able to get 10 hours of normal usage. With the Samsung Galaxy S2, we're able to get 11 hours, a little bit over 11 hours of normal usage. And finally, the iPhone 4S, we're able to get at least 1 day's worth of usage. But the battery life doesn't really seem to improve versus the iPhone 4. But nevertheless, if you really want something that's going to give you a little more juice, then by far, you'll probably want to stick with the iPhone 4S. So if you definitely have the money spent, we definitely recommend going with the Motorola DROID Bionic, just because when you combine all its features, it has a quality performance and has a lot of stuff going on for it, such as 4G LTE connectivity, a fast processor, the great Motoblur customized experience. It takes some decent photos and videos too, but for $300, definitely a little bit more on the pricey side. On the other hand, you have the $230 Samsung Galaxy S2. You know, we definitely like its Super AMOLED Plus display, fast experience, takes some stunning photos and videos, a little bit larger than the other handsets, and of course, you know, the choice material is not that fantastic, but hey, it's still a respectable smartphone. And finally, you have the iPhone 4S. It's definitely the easiest out of the three to use. Definitely feels like the most premium, takes the best photos and videos, and battery life is definitely good on this device. But ultimately, it comes down to your personal choice. You know, they all have their perks. Either way, you know, you'll know that you're on the cutting edge with any device. So if you'd like to learn more about these handsets, check out our website, PhoneArena.com. John V again. Thanks for watching, guys.